Alright, so I have a couple pots here that I've been just working on while you guys were working. Some of them are at like very leather hard, and some of them are kind of still leather soft. I have like this little ghosty guy, a little pumpkin-y thing, and then a little ghosty guy. So these ones are more still leather soft because like I can still like, move the clay really easily. Whereas this one is definitely leather hard because I'm using a lot of pressure to like smooth that stuff out. So that's kind of the difference in those two states, okay? So there's a lot of things I have now to work on to like perfect this piece and things like that. So I'm just gonna go over, work on a couple of them to show you a few different techniques you can use. The first thing I'm gonna do is try to even up my rim. So you see here, like I have a nice thin part here. That's like my 1/4 inch, looks good there, but it's still thick in other spots. So I'm just gonna take my butter knife and I'm going to make sure that wherever I'm cutting, I'm supporting on the opposite side. So if I'm gonna cut here on this piece, I wanna have my other fingers, right outside of it so I'm not breaking it. So I'm just kind of sawing to that edge. And I'm gonna come back over this way and saw into there. This chunk and any other chunks that you take out today or shavings should go in your big lidded container that you have for reclaiming your clay. So later we can use that for either making more slip or to make more clay. So I'm just going through and kind of shaving this rim. Being very gentle. The butter knife isn't the best tool for this, but I couldn't send home, everything. And normally we would use an X-Acto knife to do this because it's a nice thinner blade, smaller too, so it fits in these areas better. So we're just kind of trying our best here with the tools we have. Just kind of roughing it out, getting that rim to the thickness we kind of want it to be. Remember, we're going for, a 1/4 inch all the way around so that our piece is nice and elegant and thin. Excuse me. So that's kind of a good start. Now, we left it very thick everywhere else too, so we need to start thinning it out because we don't want it to be too heavy. So you're going to want to use your loop tool, so either have one kind of like this or you have the small mini one, okay? Either one works. I could use this loop tool to go around these edges too, like kind of cut away if that butter knife is too difficult to use. Okay, it's just a smaller little loopy guy. So then I'm just gonna take and start, scooping out some thick parts. So normally we end up leaving a lot of extra clay towards the bottom. So that's where I would say focus first. Then you see I'm getting all these little crusties out. And I want to overlap my tool marks on the inside so that I have less cleanup work to do later. I don't want to have like a deep gouge here and then a little gouge and a deep gouge. I'm trying to do it evenly, so I'm just shaving a little bit off at a time. Trying to even it out. And I can like feel in here, okay, where is there a thick spot? Okay, right here, or I need to scoop some more, in that spot. Kind of just feel around because we do want these to dry evenly so that we can avoid, any cracks happening in that drying process. If something is thicker in one spot and thinner in the other, they won't dry evenly, and that can lead to cracking. So, we just want to be sure that we're giving our pots the best chance possible. I'm just scooping. Okay, now this is kind of a funky shape. Probably wasn't the best idea to show it on, because now I have all these tool marks inside of there that I need to get rid of, okay? And it's a little hard to get in there. But what I can do first is just to make sure, do some little baby scrapes, just little baby scrapes to go over those tool marks so that then I should just be able to dip my finger in some water and smooth out those little tiny tool marks. Now, I don't know if you can see in there, but you see there's still some bigger ones in there, so then I'll go back and gently shave those out. Now, if you have a bigger opening, that's where your rib tool comes in very handy because it's like the expert level scraper. So you can like get a little angle to it and scrape. As you can see, it doesn't really fit in my form very easily, but I put a little curve to it and scrape, and then that clay, comes off. All right. For me, this will work really good on the outside at least, so I can start smoothing my outside with my rib tool, a little curve to it. And I'm just scraping to get my little finger lumps out from when I did those pinch marks. So see, it takes the clay off if you have a little curve to it. And depending on your shape, you know, you want to use the flat end. If you have a more square piece, the round end for rounded sections. And just make sure it has that curve to it. And this is to get out lumps, inconsistencies. It's still going to leave like these tool marks, but that's such a small mark that when we dip our finger or our little piece of sponge, so you all got a little yellow sponge, you dip it in water, and then I can go over it and smooth those away, okay? And then I need to do that everywhere, as well as the inside, okay? Okay, so this piece I just finished using the rib tool all on the outside, so you can see there's tool marks still on here, but I've gotten most of the big lumpy bumpies out. So then my next step is to give it a good sponge down. So I got my little dish of water and my sponge in here. I'm going to wring out all that water because I just want it to be damp. And then I'm just going to start. And it's nice and leather hard, so it's going, I can be pretty aggressive with it and not worry. And I'm just trying to rub the surface of the clay, get all those tool marks out, any other lumpy bumpy, so you see the difference from this piece that I just rubbed smooth versus here, and we're just going to keep doing that. If I did this when my clay was still like leather soft or plastic, it would just turn into like a big messy, mushy pile of goo. So I see these two looking a little better. I gotta do this on the inside as well, so I'm gonna use that sponge and get in there.